Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 4, Episode 4, Nemesis. Not the movie Nemesis, but the episode Nemesis, which I think is kind of interesting. Kind of like First Contact. Anyways, overall this was an okay episode. It actually kind of surprised me towards the end, because I wasn't quite expecting the twist. Which, as the episode progressed, I was so bored, and I was like, no, like, I get it, whatever. And when we finally get to the end, and there's that big twist at the end, I was actually pleasantly surprised, and it kind of redeemed the whole episode. I kind of wanted to go back to rewatch it. It's not going to happen. So, Chakotay is shot down in a shuttle, and the whole episode is based around Chakotay. We don't even see Voyager until, like, more than halfway through the episode. And he's shot down in the middle of a war between the Vori and the Kraden. And he's on the Vori side. And the Vori talk about... They have a very interesting, like, dialogue, verbiage, how they speak, stuff like that. Which, if you can get past that, it's actually really interesting. And so Chakotay works with the Vori, and he goes through all of these trials, and like they talk about how the Kraden is the Nemesis, which I think they say Nemesis like 39 times or something, according to IMDb, and how they're the Nemesis and how they mock their religion, and we see how the Kraden like destroy villages and kill people. And throughout the episode, you just absolutely hate the Kraden. Like, they're very unlikable characters. And they almost look like the Nausicaans, which I don't know if that was unintentional or what, but that's kind of who they reminded me of, which is like the open jaw type, whatever. And so as we go through, we hate them more and more and more. And this episode, like, because it's so drawn out, it's actually really well done that we don't like them so much. Well, we finally get to Voyager, and Voyager is meeting with the Kradens. And the Kradens are like, oh, and they're very dignified, they're wearing suits, they look nice, and they're like, don't worry, we will help you find your missing person. And so already I was like, okay, so is this one of those like, oh, this side hates that side, and we just happen to meet the wrong characters and stuff like that, and things will like kind of even out in the end. Because nobody thinks of themselves as the bad guys. So of course, Chakotay's with the Vori, who thinks they're the good guys. Voyager meets with the Kraden, who thinks they're the good guys, and everything will balance out. I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised, and I was wrong. Eventually, we do meet... like the Voyager team does catch up with Chakotay, and he almost kills Tuvok, because when he looks at Tuvok, he sees a Kraden, and it turns out this whole time that he's been under like Vori brainwashing, and like he even goes back to one of the villages that he was just at, and it's almost like a hologram where it replays verbatim, where a little girl comes and like puts a lei on him and is like, thank you for saving us. And it's just part of this brainwashing technique, and they were doing it to Chakotay to kind of win him over to their side. And it was a really interesting technique. Like, by the time I was done with it, I was like, that's surprising. Like, this episode, I would have been okay if it had been a two-parter, and then we had actually got to meet, like, the real Vori, and actually, like, had Chakotay be like, why did you do this to me? And they're like, hey, man, it's a war. We did what we had to. Like, I would have been okay with this episode to be a complete two-parter. Like, I wanted some follow-up. And anyways, I really liked it because of the end. I thought it was a really enjoyable episode. So for those who have seen this one, what did you think about it? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Revulsion.